is Jesus to you? And they'll tell you, right? He's the greatest man who ever lived. And that sounds good if you don't know any better. Wow, he's the greatest man. Oh man, you nailed it, right? He's the greatest man. No. Who is he? And then you ask that key question. You ask that $1 million question. Is Jesus God? And then wait for the answer. No. Jesus is not God. Oh, really? Well, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 says that he's God. Matthew 1:23 says that he's God. John 1:1 says that he's God. John 20:28 says that he's God. John 10:30-33 says that he is God. And so, but if you don't know enough to be dangerous, if you don't know the scriptures, you'll believe what they tell you. Because like I said, when I sat down and talked to a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, a lot of them came out of Christian churches. But if we don't teach it, if the pastors and the ministers and the deacons and the mothers, the missionaries, the ushers, if we don't teach it to ourselves and to our children, then we're just going through the motions. And then when they get swallowed up by the cults and the false religions, we're like, what happened? What happened? I thought they were raised different. I thought they were raised better. No. They are products of what you taught them. They are products of what you taught them. And if you didn't teach them anything, like my mother didn't teach me, I could have easily been swept up by the Jehovah's Witnesses, or by the Mormons, or by the Muslims. I mean, it would have been easy. Because I didn't know anything. I mean, I came in, my eyes were wide open as a young man, as a child. They came. They used to leave those, we used to work a little comic book, those Awake magazines. They would come and they'd, oh, brother, would you like me to leave this with you? Yeah. And I look at them like, no. But I'm just saying, as a child. But some people, actually take that stuff in. And when they start discipling you, they are way better than the Christian church. But if we don't take our responsibility, if we don't take our rightful place to teach what we know, what little bit that we have, then God help us. God help us. This next generation coming up, I'm telling you right now, they are no joke. They've been brainwashed. They don't know what to believe and why to believe it. And they'll easily be led astray. Because we as pastors, as ministers, are not teaching. I mean, there's a difference between preaching and teaching. He said some are pastor and teachers. Some are just pastors. Which means, yeah, you can have a congregation, you can build a large congregation. But it's like, what are you teaching? When I was out there looking for a church home, and I know who I am, and I know whose I am, but I go to these different places. I go to these different ministries. I didn't go in there talking about, yeah, I'm a minister, I'm a pastor. I didn't go with none of that. I went as Patrick. Because I wanted to see what they were teaching. I wanted to hear from from their perspective. I don't want them to feel like, oh, this guy's he's a pastor, he's a minister, he's sitting in our congregation. What do we do with him? Oh, no. So I just went as Patrick. And I sat there and I listened, and church after church after church after church, and they were not teaching. You're just going through the motions. People getting up throwing money on the stage. And it's just like, what is this? Who taught this? Who told you to do this? I don't see that in the Bible where they got up, when Jesus was doing the Sermon on the Mount, and they were just throwing stuff at his feet, just putting money right there before him. I don't remember a $100 line in the Bible, a $500 line in the Bible. I don't remember none of that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe there's something wrong with me, because I haven't got that far yet. But I'm just saying, think about it. They're doing everything except for teaching in the church of God. Everything except. And so Jehovah's Witnesses will fool you by saying he's the greatest man who ever lived. That's why I say you got to get down to who their Jesus really is. Who is your Jesus? And they'll tell you, Jesus is the resurrected Archangel Michael. And you're like, what? Like, where did you get that from? Like, what chapter and verse is that? And that's one thing I go over. When I talk to them, I say, I can give you like 7 scriptures off the top of my head that say Jesus is God. You can't give me not one scripture, not even one, that says Jesus is the resurrected Archangel Michael. Not even one. It's not in there. And it's not in there for a reason. Because it's not true. Hebrews chapter 1, verses 5, 6, 7, and 8 tells you that God's Son is not an angel. And I took them to that scripture. I said, can you please help me to understand this scripture? Because I'm having problems. This one says he's not an angel. And you just said he's the resurrected Archangel Michael. I said, well, you can't give me no scripture to back that up. I said, but can you help me with this one? And as long as you say, can you help me to understand, then they feel like, oh, I'm teaching. So they feel like they're instructing you. But in reality, you're instructing them. But I just gave them all the other scriptures, and then I'm going to finish it up with that one. Hebrews 1, chapter 1, verses 5, 6, 7, and 8 asks a question. It says, for unto which of the angels said he at any time, thou shalt be my son? And it says, and again, I shall be a father to you, and you shall be a son. And again, when he brings in the firstborn, the first begotten, he says, let all the angels of God worship him. And then he says, who makes his angels spirits or his ministers a flame of fire? But unto the Son he saith, thy throne, O God, is forever and ever, and the scepter of righteousness is the scepter of thy kingdom. God the Father is calling God the Son God. He's confirming it. And I always use, when I talk to Jehovah's Witnesses, I always use, well, Jehovah said in his word. They're like, oh, he knows the name of Jehovah. It's in Psalm 83:18, for those of you that don't know. Psalm 83:18 says, thou whose name alone is Jehovah art the most high over all the earth. So it's biblical. 83:18, Psalm 83:18 don't lie. And so when I'm taking them through that, basically, they don't realize until it's, it's like, then I'm not sure. Then they always got to go back and do some research. And when you hear they got to go back and do some research, you're never going to see them again. At least not that one. And maybe another one that come knock on your door, but that one you ain't going to see no more. Because once they go back and they start questioning, one thing that they don't like is questioning. Oh, you don't accept what the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society tells you? Why are you questioning us? No, don't go back to that. Because obviously they got you corrupted. And so they don't come back. Same thing with the Mormons. Their Jesus is a spirit brother of Lucifer. They believe that Jesus and Satan are spirit brothers. That's what they believe. That's what I'm saying. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints don't have nothing to do with Jesus. At least the Jesus of the Bible. Because if the Jesus of the Bible is Satan, we in trouble. We are in some deep trouble. Especially if Jesus and Lucifer are spirit brothers. That means they're equal. That's why he started a war in heaven. That's why Satan started a war in heaven. Because he said, I will rise up. I will be like the Most High God. And God said, Michael, get him out of here. And so they said, war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and that great dragon of old was thrown down. And it says, woe unto you, inhabitants of the world, inhabitants of the earth, for the devil and Satan, which means accuser, has been thrown down. And he's come down to us with great wrath, because he knows he has but a short time. That's why you got all this stuff going on. That's why you can't get right. That's why the people around you can't get right. That's why the world can't get right. The government can't get right. Can't nobody get right down here. Because there is mess down here. We have an enemy that's alive and well, that doesn't die. Satan is alive and well. And he don't mind stirring a mess in your home, in your marriage, in your church. He don't discriminate. He goes everywhere.